to those of you joining us online and those of you joining us here in the sanctuary. It's great to have you with us. If this is your first time here, or even if you've been here before, I'm still Reverend Dr. Mike McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. That's in the North San Fernando Valley, if you're familiar with Southern Cal. And this is a place where we welcome all who practice their beliefs with faith and love. This is our Get Real and Heal meditation service this evening. And I'm joined by one of our practitioners here at our center, the wonderful Beverly Scott. And so you can, so those of you watching online, except of course when we're meditating, you're not supposed to be using the chat. But at any other time, you are certainly welcome to put any comments you'd like on the chat. And for the rest of us here tonight, here in the sanctuary, we are in a nice, cool room. So next week, if you want to cool off, come here and we'll meditate together. You can also join us on Sunday mornings at 9 and 10:30. But enough of that. Let's get started by taking a deep, conscious breath and release as we bring the lights down here in the sanctuary. Just allow ourselves to use the breath, that exhale, to anchor us into this moment, this eternal now moment, as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Beverly lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course, within our own hearts. And as Beverly lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around surrender, I surrender, I trust in God.
As we take this time to turn within, recognizing and acknowledging the almighty presence of God here in this room, here within each and every one of us, I accept my oneness with the allness, and I move forward openly into experiencing the presence of Spirit, knowing that wherever I go, God is right there. Wherever my thoughts travel, God is right there. Knowing this as the being of my life, I accept and I openly walk daily, carrying my cross, being the light, sharing what is mine to share. I am deeply grateful for this truth and the realization that the Almighty Spirit is available to each and every one who opens him or herself to the influx of the flow that is our birthright. And I release my word into the activity of law, knowing that this truth is constant, complete, and already manifest here and now in the sanctuary and in the lives of each and every one that are online. I ask that you join in with me, affirming that all is well, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. It's good to see each and every one here in the sanctuary tonight. And for those online, I'm glad that you're here, joined in. I was out last Wednesday. This is one of my favorite times of the week. I get a renewal, an uplifting, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity, thanks to the Center for Spiritual Living here at Granada Hills, to be a practitioner and to be able to come forth and preside. So this evening, my talk is about decisions, big decisions. And I had to make some big decisions that, I'm glad I got tools that I can use when I have to make decisions. And just a little backstory, a year ago, July 15th, not being materialistic, but my Lexus caught on fire. Yeah, my Lexus, gone. Whew. So I went a year with no car because Spirit has been so good to me. I could get to A to B. If I needed to go somewhere, I could get a car. But I resolved, and I said, I'll just do Uber, because the most important place I want to go, thank God I work from home, the most important place I want to go is to my center, church, every Sunday, 9 a.m., 10:30. And that's what I was doing, and it worked. And then last week, my dear son, who lives with me, his family, I love it, I am not complaining, but he said, Mom, I bought me a RX 350 Lexus. My mouth fell open. I'm like, wow. Oh, so it was up and down, up and down. But then I said, it's a blessing. The blessing. He got what he wanted, he deserved, what he had opened himself to spirit, and who am I to stand in the way? Now, he has a car paid for, but he had a situation. And that's where the big decision is. I took on that situation. I made that decision. The decision was, okay, I'll take his car. I'll pay the registration. I'll do all that. And I did it. And I came out on top because there was a hefty fine, but because it was mishandled by the seller of the car, the company that sold it, they were fined $1,100 to my credit, so all I had to pay was $766. I have a car that's paid for. I always had insurance on it. So that's the manifestation, the demonstration. God is good all the time. But I wanted to share that to lead to this before I get the light, because this is very important. Weigh all your decisions against this one criterion. If each choice is either serves your highest good or distracts from it. I'll repeat that. Each choice either serves your highest good or distracts from it. Using that simple guide can take a lot of mystery out of everyday decisions. That's what we're talking about, making decisions. We always go first, prayer, put God first. That's what I just summarized it for you, but that's what that statement is really all about. As we remain centered in our inner guidance and use our life experience and intellect to guide us, that's our spirit, our inner spirit. We can trust ourselves at every level to make decisions that serve us always, even if initially they appear to be otherwise. If spirit and you are working together, you can never go wrong. Because spirit is the pilot. We are co-pilots. And it's all about good. There's nothing bad, evil about spirit. It's all good. The affirmation, my inner guidance is always activated as I make important decisions about my life. I listen to my highest wisdom, always, in all ways. And our founding father, Ernest Holmes, Questions and Answers of Science of Mind, page 53, paragraph 4. Use will in making decisions and your feelings and imagination in bringing power to them. Remember that when imagination and will are in conflict, imagination invariably wins. This is because emotion strikes deeper in the well springs of being than does the intellect. Love, peace, and harmony. I do have some announcements for you this evening before I step away. and Reverend Dr. Mike will take us into the meditation for this evening. I'd like to thank Evan and Renzen also for their presence and making all of this possible. Practitioners are available for a 2-minute tune-up. We can be reached online at CSLGH.org to talk or to be prayed. So just reach out at any time. Animal kinship groups met last Sunday, but I want to skip down and bring up something that relates directly to animal kinship. Reverend Kathy is the facilitator for the animal kinship group. On July 30th, the center had a cat, Mr. Orange. There will be a service July 30th, facilitated by Reverend Kathy, for in honor of Mr. Orange, and that's July 30th. There's a Sangha 8-week hybrid Sangha with Reverend Nicole Creative Art Workshop, Wednesday, July 26th at 9:30 a.m. It's recommended in person. RSVP necessary. Contact Reverend Nicole. There will be an unconscious invitation, breaking the cycle of reoccurring struggles, in person only, Saturday, August 5th, 1 to 5 p.m. There will be more information coming regarding that. Dr. Maureen will be the facilitator. Mark your calendars. There will be a fall festival planning meeting Sunday, August 6th, directly after the second service. And save the date. This is most important. All things are, but this is special because it's new, very new. Save the date for the Summer's Kids. Summer Kids Theater Camp with Jenny, one of our new practitioners, thank you, and Reverend Nicole, August 7th through the 11th, 9 a.m. to 12. Contact Jenny. Excuse me. Thank you. Without any further ado, I'll step away and we'll begin this evening's meditation. Thank you all.
All right, thanks. Yeah. Thank you, Beverly. So I was, when we do a mind treatment, when we do a spiritual mind treatment, Holmes is talking about bringing everything into experience. Everything that's within our experience is juice to help fire up the spiritual mind treatment. So he was talking about feelings and will, which is interesting because we often don't speak to will, but another way of that, of saying that would be focus, of course. And so the idea is to, when we're really looking to shift the tendency of our thought to have a different experience of life, it does take, that is the work, is in the focus. How's the quote go? Keep fast before me that moment of high resolve. Anybody help me out with that? Howard Thurman? I think I just butchered it. But the idea being that to work with this new idea so much so until it gets anchored deeply into our, what we call the universal subconscious, right? The law, this is the law part. And so whatever tricks, if you will, that we can use to get in there, emotion and feelings are certainly a strong part of that. The other thing, of course, and this we do on a daily basis, is to cultivate a sense of our oneness with the divine. So when Paul said to pray without ceasing, I think, prayer is kind of an umbrella term for a lot of spiritual practices. I often find myself through the course of the day considering how the nature of the divine, how it shows up. Sometimes I even question, so what the hell does that even mean today, right? Because, we're taking in all this input from what's going on in the outer world. We're taking in input from stuff that's going on, within our intimate life, right? The people who are closest to us. And then we're taking in input to whatever's going on between our two ears, right? And when we've had that moment where we understand that all is God in expression, and had that experience to where it like shifts, like it's just a moment that shifts our whole perspective of life going forward from that moment, then I think we do tend to look for ways to cultivate an awareness and a way of seeing the world to where we go, oh yeah, that's God, that's God, that's God, ugh, even that's God, right? Now I find this a much more, a very powerful way to live, because if we can hang out in this space, and we are essentially living in the first two steps of this thing we call spiritual mind treatment. And if we can hang out there, then what follows is important, but it's kind of guided into the highest ways. We are intuitively kind of funneled into ways of living our highest good by default. So I've been thinking about these things as I'm considering, we've got this strike going on, and we have people in our congregation and within my circle of friends who are directly impacted by that. And seeing that once again in the human condition, how we're set up to believe that there's an us, there's a them, there's a me, there's a you, and then we start looking for differences. And then this is where our perceptions and our biases then, of course, help sift out the things that help us believe the stuff that we already believe, right? Which sometimes makes it hard to find the truth. But in this particular realm, what is true for all of us is that there is the way to peace and harmony of mutual respect and a deep understanding of knowing that there's plenty of pie to go around, and that folks just have to stick with it and to find their way to it. So, and then I read this short poem. This is from Thomas Aquinas. Aquinas was, he's someone that I'm connected with through my dad. You know, my dad was a practicing Catholic. He never did understand what I was doing in this hippie religion. He was a daily communicant, and there are good reasons why that worked for him. And he and my bonus mom showed up here and actually sat in for a Sunday, and I did my thing on Sunday, and he was all excited, and he goes, "I didn't disagree with anything you said. That was right out of Thomas Aquinas." So Aquinas was a real nature guy, right? So Aquinas was one of the, and a brilliant fellow. So I just learned this about him. His family did not want him to become a priest or a monk. So they had his brother kidnap him. And so for 2 years, they tried to tempt him with all kinds of things. I'll let you fill in whatever that would be. For 2 years until they finally said, well, I guess he's really serious, and they let him go. And then he actually was the master of the University of Paris, and a big thinker in his day, rediscovered Aristotle. And so a lot of the way that we see the world in the West today, philosophically, is rooted in some of his writings, except that they often forget about his big thing, which is seeing God in everything. That was like his number one thing. Seeing God in nature, seeing God in ourselves, seeing God, most importantly, seeing God in each other. And so he wrote this poem, "We are fields before each other." And so I'm dedicating this to the folks who are trying to hammer out a labor agreement. We are fields before each other. How is it they live for eons in such harmony, the billions of stars? When most men can barely go a minute without declaring war in their mind against someone they know. There are wars where no one marches with a flag, though that does not keep casualties from mounting. Our hearts irrigate this earth. We are fields before each other. How can we live in harmony? First, we need to know we are all madly in love with the same God. How can we live in harmony? First, we need to know we are all madly in love with the same God. Kind of gets you right here. Yeah. So I was thinking that might be a nice focus for our meditation tonight. That we are all madly in love with the same God. So let's allow ourselves, as we move into our meditation, to cultivate. So all of us have had an experience of being madly in love. And so let's allow ourselves to imagine an experience where we're madly in love with the divine, however we know that to be. So taking a deep breath and release, and in that release, feeling ourselves anchoring in the moment. Let's take another deep breath. And release, and we're releasing the day, the cares, the concerns. And then one more deep breath. This one is for us. Feeling a sense of restoration. we allow ourselves to become relaxed, both relaxed and alert, both focused, with a sense of gentle abiding. So we check our seat, check our posture, get any wiggles or jiggles out of the way, and bring our attention to the movement of the breath. The mind begins to still. Just do a body scan from the feet to the legs, to the knees. If we find any tension, we just stop for a moment, take a breath, breathe into that place of tension, feel the release. Then return back to the breath. Into the thighs and the sit bones. And bringing our attention to the sit bones, the spine balanced over the sit bones, the head balanced on the spine. Staying with the breath. The tummy rises and falls easily. You release the fingers, the hands, the arms. The shoulders. So let's take a deep breath and allow, on the exhale, we'll allow the shoulders to fall and the neck to lengthen a little bit without straining. Just a gentle lengthen. Taking a deep breath. Release. Feel the release in the shoulder. Bring our attention to the face. Just on the next exhale, just to release the muscles in your face. Now focusing on the breath in the nostril to the exhale. With each exhale, we feel ourselves falling deeper into a focused meditative state. state of allowing ourselves to fall madly in love with the Most High. Bring our attention to space above our eyebrows, the third eye. Finally, the crown of the head. Focusing on the exhale. Taking a deep breath and release as we move into the silence now for about 15 minutes. back into the room, staying with the breath, staying with the exhale. Feeling the breath in our heart center. Allowing ourselves to fall deeply in love with the Spirit as we understand it to be. We imagine the quickening of the pulse, the excitement, of that passionate kind of love. It's with that heart that's so fully open. The powerful rush of emotion tied to it. We allow that to open us up now and feel a sense of energy within the biological body. So as we are cultivating this idea of falling madly in love with the divine, we now open our hearts to allow ourselves to be loved madly by the divine. To know that we are the object of divine love, expressing in, through, and as every aspect of our being. So in this way, we are allowing ourselves to be attuned, to be made whole, to feel a sense of healing at the deepest levels of our body. Every atom, every molecule, every cell, every muscle, our blood vessels, nervous system, our hormonal systems, all aligning with the pattern of perfection, the indwelling Spirit, the Most High, aligning and energizing every aspect of the body temple. So any ideas or notions of ill health or struggle within the body there, we just take a deep breath and release those now as the falsehoods that they are. And what remains is a sense of strength, vitality, flexibility, of knowing all is well. That within the mind, knowing that we are deeply loved, that we are the object of the beloved, infusing our mind and our heart now with new, creative and dynamic ideas, dissolving any sense of struggle or challenge of any kind, so much so that the solution is written at the deepest aspects of our being, to be recalled later, either consciously or in the dream state, as a flash of insight, that we feel the juiciness of the creative moment when it falls upon us, that we embrace it with gratitude, with courage, a courage to remain open to new ideas, new ways of being that up until now had not occurred to us. We take a deep breath. We release that. So now finally, this love within our heart, allowing ourselves to have an experience of falling madly in love with the divine and to experience that love in return. That we have an awareness that we are living in the overflow of love now. So in this overflow of the light, the love, the juiciness of being, that we call into our heart, into this heart space, into this field of light and love, anyone that we may feel we are in conflict with in any way. And just know that the crooked ways are made straight between us, that communication is open and easy. And as we know this for ourselves, we are knowing this in the outer world, for anyone who is locked in conflict of any kind, that we are knowing for those involved within this local labor dispute, that the crooked ways are made straight, that there's a recommitment based in harmony, empathy and understanding is found for ways of peaceful abiding that are profitable and prosperous for all. So we take a deep breath. And so just recognizing that we are basking now in this field of light and love, that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life of the divine that is both infusing and expressing itself, impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, in, through, and as our life. That we understand and remember and know that it is love, that this is the propellant bringing any demonstration into clear and recognizable demonstration. That for whatever cares, concerns, aspirations that we may have come here with tonight, we just take a deep breath and releasing them now, knowing in that release, feel the releasing gratitude and confidence as we're releasing it now to that aspect of the mind of the divine that knows only to say yes as the law of its own being. Yes, my beloved, yes, in you I am well pleased. So we know further for those of us here in the sanctuary tonight that we make our way home tonight in safety and in good order, and that for all of us, as we make our way through the rest of this evening, finding our ways to our beds, that we drift off easily and effortlessly to sleep, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken fully rested, restored, revitalized, with a sense of vim and vigor, a zest for life, and an excitement for the day to come. Taking one more deep breath. For the final release, we release it now. Let it be so. Together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right, so for those of you joining us at home, thanks for sticking with us. It was good for me. I hope it was good for you. And see if we can't take that love energy that we've cultivated here tonight into the rest of our day, or the rest of our week this week. So again, if you're new to us, we do meet here in person at 9 a.m. We live stream at 10:30. If you're new to the channel, just hit subscribe and the notification, and you'll get an alert little reminder that we're getting ready to kick off. So until then, to all of those of you in the room, thank you for being here. For those of you at home, thank you for being here. Know that you're loved, and I'll see you next time.